I think people must come see A Complicated Hope because number one, I believe that this show is going to keep on going and growing. And with an intimate theater experience such as the one we have, you get to be the first and you get to be right there as it happens. Number two, I think that this touches on so many important pieces of our lives that it's going to affect you very differently than a lot of other theater pieces do. And ultimately, we need people to experience theater again. I really believe that theater is one of the most beautiful art forms we have, and one of the best experiences an audience can have. And I think, especially in Los Angeles, when people think of entertainment, there's so many different things for them to do. They almost forget theater, and they also forget intimate theater and being up close and personal with the actors as they present a show is it's amazing. And I want to pack this theater with people who are passionate about theater, and I want them to tell their friends all about it. And they'll be some of the first people to say, "Oh, I saw that when it was here." Hello, my name's Shawn Plunkett. To learn more about our production of A Complicated Hope, listen to this conversation. First became aware of A Complicated Hope, I would say a little over a year ago. I had actually performed a Zoom play of John Mabey's that was called Castles in the Zoom. And I enjoyed the way he writes. The way he writes is very conversational, very realistic. But before that play had come out, he had sent a few different ones to the theater that I'm involved with for us to do readings of, and Complicated Hope was one of them. So the moment I read it, it was special to me. I identified with the character that I'm playing. I identified with the story and all the just the ins and outs of it. And I was obsessed with it from the get-go. We ended up doing a reading of that at Kentwood Players, which I got to play the role of Arnie. And in doing that, it was such a great experience. But I really got to know John, I think, pretty well, and we talked a lot about the play. And it just left me with this hole in my heart because I was able to do a reading of it, but it needed to be staged. It needed to be seen. And at the time when I was wanting to do it and talking to John, it hadn't been staged yet. There'd been a few readings throughout the country, but no one had staged it at the time. And then, fast forward, it's been done a couple of times on the East Coast, but this will be the West Coast premiere. The main characters in A Complicated Hope are Arnie, Rosemary, and Marie. And basically, they're sharing an experience of grief and death and loss. And this show takes you through that journey. And it's what's interesting about this play is that it's it jumps 10 years ahead, 10 years back, and it doesn't follow that normal format of how a play starts with the beginning and an ending. They're there, but they're jumbled, and they very closely, to me, resemble what grief is. We talk about the 5 stages of grief and how people go through the process, but no one does it the same. No one grieves the same. No one even interacts with people the same when they're going through that. And so, without giving away the nuances of the play, it's just kind of highlights how people deal with loss and what loss means to them. But at the same time, what's beautiful about this play is it deals with race relations and sexuality and classism and all these things that we are dealing with now in modern times. But what's great about it is it's showing you insight from pretty much every angle you can think of, and it's never beating you over the head with what the moral of the story is. So it doesn't matter who the person is. They're watching the show, and they're going to identify with something at some point. And hopefully it's one of the actors. Hopefully it's all the actors. But you're going to find something in the story that's going to kind of jar a memory inside you and affect you. So there are some kind of shifts and surprises and turns in this play that make it's going to make the audience go, what is going on? What are these guys doing? But again, I think, when you're in that raw state, you don't have a good reason for a lot of the things you do. You just do. You just exist. And as human beings, we're always searching for connection, an emotional connection, even a physical connection. And so when you have someone such as Arnie, who I play, who really hasn't had that in their life, it's the most important thing to them. So they'll continue to search until they get it. And even in some points, they continue to search even after they've gotten it. And so it's just, to me, it's a very special story. It hit me right away, and there's so many things I identify with in it. I think it's an important story to tell, and it's going to spark a lot of conversation with the audience. That really, to me, that's the best part of theater. When you can walk away going, this is what I think, or you have a question you want to ask the person next to you, or you'd like, oh, if I could only sit down with the writer and ask them that, I would. So I'm really excited to bring this to people in a live format. Playing Rose Marie is Danielle Davis, who is a young actress who grew up doing theater, and she is amazing. Even though she's the youngest one in the cast, she holds her own. Her character of Rose Marie has to be strong and has to be willing to stand up to people, but also, be soft and have a heart. And she's able to do that easily. And she's really great. So far, it's been an amazing experience. Definitely wise beyond her years when it comes to stage acting. And so far, I just love her. Playing Marie, the mother, is Faley Patrice. She has a very long list of theater experience. And again, she's such a strong person, and that's who Marie is. Just very strong, very sure of herself, never takes no for an answer, and kind of has to win. And Faley is that. She can do that, and she's really strong, and takes the stage and really kind of commands a presence, and it's beautiful. And for me, playing Arnie, playing off of these two actors just really makes my job a lot easier. It's a very heavy piece. I go through a lot of different emotions, as you do with grief, but being able to play off these two strong actors just makes me feel safe in doing so. So we can really kind of get into the meat of the characters and really bring forth a beautiful show. Right now, I'm just so excited about how things are going, and it's building so well, and it's becoming just a beautiful piece. John Mabey's writing, to me, what makes it unique in a lot of ways is really that everything I've read of his just sounds real, meaning that it's a conservation of words. A lot of times playwrights want to write all the words that they're thinking, and I think a lot of times, me included, you write something down and you don't say it out loud. And when you hear it out loud for the first time, you realize no one talks like that. Nobody says that many words, but his is just very realistic, and it's very unique in that way. Again, being personally experiencing working on two of his pieces, I never really found any of the writing to be kind of like, how can I fix that so it sounds right? It just rolls off the tongue. I think mainly that's super unique, and that's what makes a play stand out from others. Other than that, I think, John has an amazing soul, and he's very empathetic, and he also does the research. He doesn't just write things. He puts a lot of work and effort into backstory and understanding where the characters are coming from and how to shape them so that they're realistic. One of the things he had said to me is that he doesn't write for other people's perspectives, meaning he's not telling a story that he has no business telling. Which, none of us should do. But when he's telling a story from that perspective, he involves other people and does the research in order to tell it in a realistic way without assuming anything. And I think in A Complicated Hope, you'll see that the realism in these relationships and the way we speak and the conversations that we have. What I want the audience to get out of A Complicated Hope is really a sense of belonging, and that meaning that, again, you identify with the things these people are going through. So those little pieces, those little nuances that hit you in the heart, that you keep those, and you kind of get the idea, especially in this day and age, that you're not alone, whatever it is, whether it be grief or anger or, the political situation or any of those things that these experiences that we have are never singular, and they're never ours alone. Of course, we all experience things differently because we are us. But you're never completely alone. There's always someone kind of sharing that experience. And with loss, I think you tend to feel like that you're the only person experiencing, so you fall down that hole. but also with love. You know, the love, we all search for it, whether we want to admit it or not. But it's kind of a lonely experience too when you haven't found it, and even when you found it and it's not, you know, the love that you thought it was. All of these things, you know, these are shared experiences. So I want our audience to walk away identifying with these characters in some way, shape, or form. And ultimately, I want them to go to dinner and I want them to have a conversation about it. And I want them to talk about it and have theories and even have arguments about what they thought this meant. Because that's, to me, is the best theater. What I'm looking forward to most when performing this piece. Well, my goal always as an actor is to embody the character and become the character. I want to feel like the walls and the seats and the people have washed away, knowing they'll always be there. But I want to fully envelop myself in that world and become Arnie and live that life with these other two characters. And I always feel like when I can see that on stage from an actor, it's so authentic and so real that I forget as an audience member that I'm sitting there watching a show. I'm living the life with them, and that's my ultimate goal, especially with A Complicated Hope, because it touches on so many things that are important to me. I want to live that life. I want everything that happens to me that I experience to be real and be genuine, and I want to take the audience on that ride with me. I would like to just tell everybody that A Complicated Hope is a special show. It's special to me. It's an important piece. I don't think anybody will not be affected by it. I would love to fill the seats and fill the theater and get as many people to experience a special thing with us. And it would mean so much to me to be able to say, we sold out. I'm sorry. There's no more room. Hello, my name is Shawn Plunkett. I play Arnie in A Complicated Hope from the Left Hand Productions. I would like to invite everybody to come out and see this play at New Collective Theater in Hollywood at 6440 Santa Monica Boulevard, and we'll see you there.